If it's one thing that has been ringing in my spirit lately, is that we need to take God seriously. We need to take God seriously and to remember that God is a holy God. And He's not just a God or some God, He's the God, the one and only true God. There is none like Him, none beside Him. He is the one and only true God. There is no other, right? But we really need to take the Lord seriously, because for some of us, we've gone to a place where we don't take the Lord as seriously as we used to. We don't remember that this is a holy God. This isn't some God we just push to the side or make weight or I'll get to you or, you cool over there. No, this is a real living true God. And there are some people who they say, I pray, I believe in God, God this and God that. Like, they say things, but they're not truly living for God. God, that for them, saying God is kind of like almost like this label or poster that they could put up. So however they choose to live their life or dabble the way they want to, it's like, okay, the Lord approves of this because I pray, I live for God, I do what I'm supposed to do. But really, they're living their own will. If you don't live a life that is submitted to the Lord, living in His will, being obedient to Him, doing what He called you to do and told you to do, then you need to come out of alignment with focusing on your will, your how you want to do things, and come into alignment with serving and being submitted to God. Because it's not about, oh, this is my life and I'm living it how I want to, and I own this. Okay, the Lord has given you free will to live life as you choose to live. He's not going to force you. But what you have to know is that God has given us gifts, talents, abilities. He's given all of us all different types of things. But at the end of the day, when time is up and all of this is done, the world, the activities and hobbies and awards and accolades and houses and monies and cars, all of these things, when it's done, it's done. You have to now stand before God and give an account to Him about the life that you lived. You have to give an account. You can't bring before Him your money, your cars, your accolades, your possessions, your titles. You can't even bring before Him how good your gift is, how good you're talking, all these other things. Because not only did He create you, He put those gifts in you, but He did it for a reason. It was to bring glory and honor to the name of God, right? It wasn't about you or the life you want to live. It wasn't about that. It was about living for Christ, serving Christ, people being saved, and you doing whatever God has called you to do. And let's get this straight. It's not about you knocking off this checklist about what you can do for God, because God is not focusing on you being in Him just to do stuff and knock off a checklist so you can have this long list of what you've done. No, because the Bible even talks about, what's that scripture that we all know? It talks about, Lord, I've done this in your name, I've done that in your name. But He said, workers of iniquity, depart from me, I never knew you. So there's going to be some people that have done things for God and maybe had this conference or maybe had this group or maybe done this thing, and they thought, I'm doing God a favor. Like, to remember, God, when I did this and I did that, remember I did all of this stuff. And God is like, yo, like, it's not that I need you to do something for me. I gave you my spirit that gives you the power to do these things. And I gave you gifts, callings, abilities, all of this to do that, so that people will come to Christ. But you think because you did this and you did that, but yet you don't really live for me behind closed doors, you're not living for God and really submitted to me and obeying the way you need to be, you could just live how you want. No. And so God is not just focused on us just doing. I got this call and I got this title, I did this, I did that. The Lord wants you to be. He wants you to be in Him, be submitted to Him, live for Him, be focused on His will. And the byproduct of that is what you will do for the Lord. Because our hearts must be aligned to Him. We must be focused on Him. He must be the focus, not us. Because no matter how much money, no matter how big your name is, you're not famous. Because when the time is up, all the glory will go to God. There will be none left for nobody. It'll be people to your left, right behind you, wherever, however it will be. And no matter how famous, how rich, how talented, that glory will no longer be on your shoulders. This glory that the world gives, that they, hype you up and all of this type of stuff, all the glory will go to God. You don't get to keep that. It's not about you. It's all about the Lord. Because when time, like we got to realize when time is up, it doesn't matter about all of these things that you thought were so important that had nothing to do with God. And I'm a stickler for really enjoying life. So I'm not saying that while you're here, you can't enjoy life, enjoy vacations, enjoy your families, enjoy your friends and hobbies. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is don't let your life be filled with focusing on that and not truly living for God. And you could deny, you can say you don't care, you can say I just want to live my life how I want to live. That's your choice. But you have to know that you have to take God seriously, because one thing I was talking about with one of my bros, we were having a discussion. I was like, man, it's crazy because like one day we're really going to be before God, right? And it's like we really have to sink into the seriousness of that. Like one day this is really going to be over. I think about it all the time. One day I'm going to be singing for God. One day I'm going to be in heaven. One day all of this sickness and disease and this fear, all of this is going to be taken away. It's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. But what I thought about was just like the people that have to stand before God and give an account, right? Because it's not like you could just sit there and conceal anything in your heart or your mind. Like everything is before God. Everything is revealed. You don't just stand before God and feel regular. Like you will feel the weight of your sin. You will feel the weight of the fact that this is a perfect, holy, and powerful God before you. And you are just his creation that he has created in love. And that you are not, it's the word I'm thinking about right now. But you just aren't perfect in the sense of like, yes, you have sinned, you have fallen short of the glory of God. And that's why you needed to believe in Jesus and be saved and submit to God and give your life over to him. But it's like, I think about it like this. Have you ever been very cold, like freezing, and then you step outside in the heat because you was in somewhere where it's AC and you feel a difference like, oh, it feels so good. There's a distinct differentness, right? Even if you're really hot on the inside somewhere, but it's more cool outside and you go outside and you cool off, that distinct feeling that you feel between the differences of the temperatures. Now think about standing before a holy, powerful, majestic God where you know deep down in your inner being that, man, I have sinned, I have fallen short of the glory of God. Like, I'm not perfect. I have these things in my heart, some in my mind, and you can't hide one thing. God knows everything. He sees everything, and you'll feel that differentness. Like, man, this is holiness. But you have to know, especially if you're a child of God, that we know that Jesus Christ is our mediator. But this is not to make you scared or make you fearful to run away from God. This is just an invitation for you to truly be bold in the Lord and take God's seriously. Remember that God is a holy God. He is a powerful God. And he is still a loving God. But the Lord is serious about what he says. So make sure you take the Lord seriously. Whatever you do, remember, he is not some God, a God, one of all the gods. He is the God, the one and only true God.